them know that if they have a message to send, tell Tempo. And if they come home and they see me, tell me neighbor, or get a pen and a writing pad and write a letter. Cause TCT does make me weep. Gone are the days when old talk was cheap. I make a phone call to Talparo and I get a phone bill to Mexico. Oh my lad, before they kill me and kill me quick, I'm going back to basic. A piece of marling and two climpan couldn't do the trick. I'm going back to basic. I went and buy me a motor car for my own comfort, because I can't take no more torture waiting on transport. But all them potholes and all them bumps, me car ain't able until they invent a car to jump. Well, I go travel. I beg the Lord to please put a hand, touch the hearts of the spare parts man. I used to have a raise in the bank. Now every cent gone in me gas tank. Now I prefer roller with piece of sticker. I'm going back to basic. Or buy a 3-speed bike, go in tick. I'm going back to basic. Now the only competent source that really working is when you can't pay your bills on time. They come cutting. Incompetence and disregard.
To call our homes and our families together around a table and say, you know what, we can no longer afford to go to the movies twice a week or 3 times a week. We may not be able to make every month or make macaroni pie. We have to cut back.
Madam Speaker, I still have a coal pot, you know, where I put my coals and I roast my breadfruit. So if you don't have that, go back until such time as you can afford the gas. But don't come and blame you not having gas on the government. I have a suggestion for me. In order to lose weight, I will ride to court. I will take a...
To call our homes and our families together around a table and say, you know what, we can no longer afford to go to the movies twice a week or 3 times a week. We may not be able to bake ham every month or make macaroni pie. We have to cut back.
Madam Speaker, I still have a coal pot, you know, where I put my coals and I roast my breadfruit. So if you don't have that, go back until such time as you can afford the gas. But don't come and blame you not having gas on the government. I have a suggestion for me. In order to lose weight, I will ride to court. I will take a bike. That will save fuel. That's my solution.
Everybody wants everything for nothing. Everybody wants everything, but willing to give up nothing. So then why is it so hard for us now to sacrifice?
The government is not closing down Petrotrin.
The employees of Petrotrin will exit the company. All.
Pleasant good night to all and sundry. Yes, I know that you want to say it, but let me say it for you. what is the what arsness is this? Yes, I know that's what you want to
all our
say.
homes and our families together around a table and say, you know what, we can no longer afford to go.
Pleasant good night, of course, to all and sundry, East, West, South, South Central, our friends in Tobago, and wherever you are, streaming on the World Wide Web. Pleasant good day to you. Yes, indeed, is what arsoness is this. Yes, indeed. Big men and women talking that level of what I consider to be nonsensicality in contemporary Trinidad and Tobago. They are saying, as of course, Maestro has said back in the 60s, that it looked as though Eric William wanted to take them back to Coal Pot. Well, here it is in 21st century Trinidad and Tobago. You have these, of course, what is supposedly enlightened people in an enlightened time, and they're talking coal pot and bicycle to ride to work. In a country that has been, of course, well known for fossil fuel, oil and gas, and petrochemical later. But he is saying that he was going to ride to work because he wants somehow for us to understand that the government has not just abdicated its responsibility, but somehow believe with that asinine argument that they could escape unscathed, having told us that they are there or have been in government for the longest, are talking about the PNM, and therefore their developmental, what I consider to be program, consistent, of course, ostensibly, with, of course, what a government is supposed to do. But instead, what we have seen is the absolute reverse. It's as if a bunch of Neanderthals, cavemen and women, has captured or taken over government in Trinidad and Tobago. Let me repeat that. I say it appears that a group of Neanderthals, cavemen and cavewomen, have taken over Trinidad. Imagine in this time and day and age. And of course, it's as if it was by chance, by divine intervention, by serendipity. I happened, of course, by one of the callers, and I must thank them for that, who, of course, drew me to the attention of the production or the creations of the Maestro. And we talked about To Serve with Love. And then, of course, we saw where Trinidadians don't know what they want. And in that particular calypso, Trinidadians don't know what they want. We had a situation where Eric William, it appears, in that period, had made, of course, a stove a luxury. And then, of course, Maestro said in retorting, in song, of course, and in calypso, therefore, boss, you're going to say my mouth hot, but like you want me to go back to coal pot. Well, Rowley has not just demonstrated that, but his bunch of clowns have, of course, emphasized that fact. Bunch of clowns in this, of course, 21st century Trinidad and Tobago, where the technology, if you don't have, of course, a fair supply of natural fossil fluid and fossil resources, then you must have wind power, you must have solar, you are in the Caribbean, and you must have, of course, water, hydro, solar, sun, and then there is still another option, as is practice or is the way to go in Cuba, where, of course, we are talking about a fuel produced from sugarcane. Yes, fuel produced from sugarcane. What the hell? This Scotland fella and this Gonzales fella, where them come from? To tell us that we must do without pie, don't go to cinema, all the pressures that they are placing on the population unnecessarily, not understanding that they have a duty and responsibility to expand the economy. They have been engaged in the contracting of the economy. And of course, their policies and programs have taken us, of course, to the depths, to extremely shallow waters in terms of economic advancement, creativity that is required in order to augment or to increase and expand the GDP. Because what we see for the first time is the direct foreign investment that has ever been since Rowley took over the PNM. And then we also have, of course, the situation where almost inexplicable the ease of doing business. And then, of course, unemployment ratio or unemployment state of affairs that is unacceptable. It's 13,000 young people ostensibly left school last July, and beating up the 13,000 that left school the July before that in 2023, and the one in 22, and the one in 21, and the one in 20. Understand that. And all they're doing is making excuses and telling us to do what they will never do. And that is the level of hypocrisy we are talking about. Listen to these dumbfounded nincompoops, asinine specimen of inhumanity and a waste of protoplasm, the stuff that living things are made of. Listen to them as they wallow in their dotishness and believe that we must somehow listen to that piece of hogwash.
And say, you know what? We can no longer afford to go to the movie. To call our homes and our families together around a table and say, you know what? We can no longer afford to go to the movies twice a week or 3 times a week. We may not be able to bake ham every month or make macaroni pie. We have to cut back.
Madam Speaker, I still have a coal pot, where I put my coals and I roast my breadfruit. So if you don't have that, go back until such time as you can afford the gas. But don't come and blame you not having gas on the government. I have a suggestion for me. In order to lose weight, I will ride to court. I will take a bike. That will save fuel. That's my solution.
Everybody wants everything for nothing. Everybody wants everything, but willing to give up nothing. So then why is it so hard for us now to sacrifice?
The government is not closing down Petrotrin.
The employees of Petrotrin will exit the company. All.
To call our homes and our families together around a table and say, you know what? We can no longer afford to go to the movies twice a week or 3 times a week. We may not be able to bake ham every month or make macaroni pie. We have to cut back.
Madam Speaker, I still have a coal pot, where I put my coals and I roast my breadfruit.
Let's go straight to the line.
If you don't have that, go back until such time as you can afford the gas.
Just a minute. Yes. A pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Yes, I call in early. Good night.
Yes, good night to you, my friend.
Studying them people. I want to talk about going forward. I hear Andy say some things today.
Go ahead.
On the ground report.
Yes.
And he cipher out everything concerning these Chinese people here in the country setting up business everywhere.
Yes.
But I want to tell Andy how we come out with this at this 11th hour.
Hold on, caller. We have another caller on the other line. All right.
And I'll tune
Hold on.
into the program. As senior, never forget the background. I am enjoying it. The
All
one
right.
with the
Okay.
cold foot,
Thank you
he's
very much.
still
Thank you
too
very much.
fat.
All
He's
right.
not even riding the bicycle.
Yeah,
He's still
imagine
too
a
fat.
big,
And the
lumpy
next
fella
one,
like that. Just now,
that's saying
Miss Arima,
I was just looking at the clip footage with Trinidad have nice people with Alwari was talking in Parliament. What Trinidad people nice, but not the PNM. And another one with Stuart Young with Team Unity PNM or the new PNM.
Yes.
What new is the same old bloody
Same
liars?
old. All right, listen. I have a caller that was
liars.
on before you. I just trying to say that since you were complimenting me on the background, I thought I should entertain. But I want to think that caller was online
I'll
before
call
you.
back.
All right. Yeah, so you could call back if you wish,
All
or
right,
you
call
could wait.
back.
All right. Go ahead, Miss
Call you
Arima. Sorry
from
about that.
Yes, Lennox. So as I was saying, Andy come in with some information, or I should say he analyzed something really good this morning.
All right.
But I'm saying to Andy, you're late with that because everything done happened already. When I was alerting you all kind of 2 years ago and more concerning these same Chinese Spanish people, because people still don't understand them that talk Spanish.
Yes.
Right? And they hire in the Venezuelans to work with them, and people will feel because of how the government say the Spanish is not to pay NIS. But they could communicate with them because they were there in Venezuela doing business. But just what going on now with the black people, how they're gunning down people and robbing business places, extorting, etc., etc. All of that went on over there with these pink people.
Okay.
And they had to run out and they find out about this nest. And well, as we know, Rowley do deal with the Chinese government and all of that.
Yes.
But I told you all, and it's not only the Chinese, it have the Venezuelan Syrians. Over there, they call them Tulco.
All right. Okay.
All these Lebanese people with the frying gyro and all of that. And you always feel they're talking Arabic because of the tone when they're talking Spanish. They just still sound like they're talking Arabic.
All right.
They have a strong accent. And they will hire some Venezuelan people to work with them. And so people feel it is Arabs talking there because all of them pink now.
Right.
So this kind of talking, all them thing I show Andy and all them foolish people find I talking about them Latin and thing too much. Right? And where do I time call and say how I bashing the people and they just work hard and hear what he could say they just contribute to the society and how they just buy beers. Them does buy beers, so that's contributing.
I hear you.
Right?
I hear you. I hear
I said
you.
that dunce people here just have on thinking on this the program. I tell them, man, this is why I just be vexed and I have to be talking so to people because they're continuing with the bullshit. So we had to take bullshit.
I hear you.
You understand?
I hear
All
you.
them things too late. The show going through inside of here. Right? I heard a lady on the program this morning talking about Charlotte Street and, you know, these things these Chinese put up from Park to the foot of Charlotte Street there by Independence Square. I want to tell she don't worry, that will come out in our timing.
All right.
Because just what happened over next door, it gonna happen here. Them fellas and them where she say killing one another, no. Is a different set of thing going on. You must tell she that
I hear you.
It have who
Call on. I have another caller
drugs.
on the other line. All right. Yeah.
Sure.
It have who gunning down for drugs and this and that and the other, and it have who robbing, the shooting, the killing because they have to live. When a thief go to thief, he have to make sure and guard himself. And them fellas who fight in that kind of way by thieving to survive, they talk to Christmas list because they say the youth, not them, you know, them fighting a revolution. Everybody turn a thief and a killer now. And they tell Christmas list. The government, I want to understand that. So it's the
Well, yeah,
black
well, it's just clear
people
that the
with
government is out of its depth. We know that. Those of us who are on the ground have always said that if they understand the socio-economic and psycho-cultural nature of these communities, they could solve the problem of crime with a little more what I
look
consider
now
to be
it's all
fervor.
in Chanapuna.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
all
just spread.
right.
Yeah, it's just mushroomed. Yeah, but no doubt about
Yes.
it. But thank you
Okay.
very much for that intervention. All right, let's go to the other call. Pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Diego Martin inside.
Yes,
Good
Diego
night,
Martin.
Lennox. All right, a couple of issues.
Go ahead.
We're talking about KCR.
Yes.
Biden put 25 million on Maduro head.
Yes, additional 10 million, which would make it now 25 million.
Right.
As soon as the inauguration or his inauguration, of course, questionable for the third term, was of course engaged.
That is,
yes.
That is not the only thing they do. All his associates, his right hand, left hand behind and
Yeah, some additional sanctions for them.
Right.
In fact, he started to throw some what I consider to be gun talk in local parlance across the bow of the Americans, saying, of course, he will join with Brazil to, of course, invade and to capture Puerto Rico. Well, of course, we know that is rhetoric, and of course, it doesn't hold any water. But of course, he has an audience, and the media is prepared to. The international media, that is prepared, of course, to carry it.
Right. When Trump comes back,
yes.
Remember Maduro, all his henchmen, also under heavy manners from the United States.
Yes.
When Trump comes in, I believe the net will be widened, and how he will contextualize the relationship between Small Pin, KCR, and Maduro. Are they friends? Are they close associates? Are they people who working with Maduro to evade sanctions? Because a sanction plane coming here, and Small Pin lied to everybody, inclusive in Parliament.
Yes.
So we see how that going. Now, the cold pot man.
Yes.
He's still like cold pot, right?
Well, I think it was more fake talk than anything else, because these people, when they tell you jump, you know you have to stand up, and when they tell you close your eye, you have to open it wide open. So we know it's fake talk, we know it's hullabaloo, and because he has a big hole in his face, call a mouth, he then, of course, regurgitates these nonsensicalities. Go ahead.
He must go to the grocery now and see what is the cost of a bag of coal. It is much more than a tank, a small cylinder.
I hear you, my friend. I hear you. Yes.
It disappears quicker. 2 or 3 times you use that and it's gone through. Now, the other thing is, you remember a fellow by the name of Mondello?
Yes. That is the former ambassador, yes, under Trump, yes.
He gone to the great beyond. Remember he fall out with Small Pin?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did said to him that he would have performed what is considered to be taboo or unorthodox. So when he told him that he's a liar.
Right.
Yes.
Well, I am hearing through the grapevine, the current government co-opted the executive of Massey to find out from Mondello if he's coming back to Trinidad reincarnated, so he can deal with him.
I hear you.
The other issue is that Rex Chikolongo, the son of the real Gurin in newspaper reporting and journalism, apparently he is going after the PNM. Also all the associates that is close to KCR, including a former mayor. I mean to say, the amount of YouTube videos that he has come out and basically telling us how his mother demise was basically done with respect to all of them in the PNM years. There are several videos giving you the history of all of those things.
Wow.
Yeah, how the PNM has been involved in that. And the last point is the debate today. Like the government didn't come prepared to debate because they continue to waffle and use word salad and Saddam Urupuch is the Honorable Kamala Bissessa. They should be running the government because what I believe that has come out to me is, you know, that a fellow named Cummins and going?
Yes. Who doesn't know if he's coming or going?
Right. And he was basically scolded by the university for plagiarism.
Plagiarism, yes. Blasted dunce, pretending to be bright.
This 2011, based on what I'm hearing from Saddam and all of them, is a plagiarized 2011 regulation.
What? Repeat that again?
I say, based on this current SOE, most of it was cut and paste from the 2011 SOE.
Very observant. If you didn't hear it from very observant, because we have a situation where there is a gun amnesty that was introduced by the Robinson administration, and they have it there, and now they are trying to say that their policy is not about gun amnesty. Yet still, that was part of the regulations, and it was of course Ramdeen who identified it and told them, listen, there's a specific process here. And when they realized that they were again caught with their pants down, so to speak, they then tried, of course, to backtrack. But of course, not before their incompetence, impotence, and underheadedness and unpreparedness was widely exposed to the public. Go ahead.
Yeah, Saddam told us in uncertain terms, they're damn lazy. They plagiarized the 2011 SOE and the regulation, and they got it wrong.
And you observe as well that they are so bent on scheme and trickery that they try to make it look as though it is a superior SOE to anybody else because they didn't have a curfew. And I thought that was so dumb and stupid. Now it is clear that they cut and paste, and now we're trying to save face.
Plagiarized. Yes. Cut and paste is a soft term. Plagiarized.
The plagiarized. Okay. I'll be nice for mistake. Yes, I try to make it look nice for them, but because I'm feeling so sorry for them because they are hapless.
Well, let's use the word pathetic.
Pathetic. Yeah, they are hapless. They are in no man's land, and they are, of course, a lame duck government. And any common sense person will realize that. But go ahead.
They basically is hapless, lazy, have no vision, and no leadership or management skills.
Yeah.
And I suspect
all of the above. Yeah.
KCR is running because something coming down the pipeline, and as according to somebody, it will be a train coming down the pipeline for them. I'm going to have a nice time.
Yes, indeed. But tonight, of course, we will look at that as well because, of course, I'll put something together to focus on that because it is about the Americans. It is about it, and we, for the time being, we will be speculating, but at the same time, when Rowley says, as I said, to jump, then you stand still, and when he tells you to close your eyes, you open it very, very, very wide. So we know what they are capable of, the level of lies, whether it be, of course, in the area of intercepting that shortlist that was on its way to the parliament, but caused, of course, the sitting president to be extremely embarrassed. And, of course, the initial stage was that, listen, I knew nothing about it, even though, of course, the opposition was saying a senior government official. It's only when, clearly, only when the president take a turn in Rowley tail, then, of course, he admitted outright that it was him who made the intervention. So, yes. So we know and we understand the evil and the opportunistic nature and pretending to be what they are not. Let me tell you this. these men and women have some serious inferiority complexes. You know what I say? I said they have some serious inferiority complexes. You see, because they spoke so much, they bragged so much, they were arrogant, they were contemptuous, they were self-serving. They boast about themselves. Their ego knew no limit. And every time they are put to the test, they turn out to be consummate nincompoops. All of them. And their policies and programs, wow, all is worthy of going to the dustbin. Physical dustbin. Because nothing has worked. But they could boast too bad before the calamity strikes. Before they will tell you how much roads there will be, how much borders they will protect, how much boats they will, always something futuristic. And when the time comes, just as of course telling us, as Rowley did in 2020, he said it will have 2 more years of hardship. Well, the 2 years came and went, and then in another budget, the one for 2025, he then says, listen, you have hardship until 2027. The contemporary population, the contemporary people, and if you are not circumspect, and if you are not meticulous, and if you are not discerning, you get tied up like a market crab with these nincompoops who have an inferiority complex. They could say nothing and do nothing right. And now that they are imploding, they are trying to tell us that that is not so. And that is not so. And telling us at the same time, in that process, to go back to basics. Go back to basics. Let's hear them again so you will get an appreciation, just in case you just landed in Trinidad and don't understand what is being purported to be a government in Trinidad and Tobago. What is purported to be a government who claim to have many opportunities to have been in government
for the gas
and have failed.
But don't come and blame you not having gas on the government. I have a suggestion for me. In order to lose weight, I will ride to court. I will take a bike. That will save fuel. That's my solution.
Let's hear this buffoon again.
Madam Speaker, But
before I go further, let me say, of course, once again, a pleasant good night to all and sundry, East, West, North, if you are now joining us, of course, East, West, North, Central in Trinidad, our friends in Tobago, and wherever you are, streaming on the World Wide Web, a pleasant good day to you. I invite you, I beseech you, of course, to share, tell a friend, of course, share with a friend, and even if it's an enemy as well, because they will have no choice but to open up. And of course, we are trying to get at least 20,000 persons a night. Of course, I have to upgrade and facilitate the calling because this is fundamentally an interactive way. Of course, you play your part, but I trust that many would prefer to listen as the different arguments to and about, and of course, it is done with a reciprocity that is respectful and at the same time developmental and of course salubrious, not only to the heirs but to the intellect, as we of course continue to demonstrate that the Rowley administration has gone berserk and has gone south, meaning that gone to hell in a gasoline-soaked paper bag. It is of course a shambolic state of affairs. The party itself that Rowley inherited and has now destroyed, and a country that he simultaneously destroyed. Why? We will examine that tonight. Is it that he's afraid of the Americans? Is it that as a result of the unscheduled or unscheduled delay when he went to Los Angeles for a whole month, and whether or not the authorities are investigating him? We have to speculate because we have established the fact that Rowley's sudden decision, which was clearly capricious, some may say a knee-jerk, but capricious, clearly unplanned. No one could have believed that Rowley was going to resign in the way that he has, having regard to the fact that he put mechanism in place for observers to come to observe our next elections. That, of course, he was all over the place cutting ribbons, suggesting that, of course, elections is nigh, focusing, of course, on the Tobago seat or seats by, of course, attempting to cover up and to, of course, render a jewel in his administration's effort to upgrade Trinidad and Tobago and the tourism product in Tobago. He focused, of course, on the airport and its completion, the A&I Robinson Airport Extension Program. That too has, of course, suffered not only a setback, but, of course, is a symbol. It is the epitome. It is the quintessential example, just as Balize House. But this one, of course, is a public facility. All the corruption, all of the overruns, and all of the excesses as far as financial outlay is concerned is represented in that particular project. No different to the Tobago Hospital that had to be completed by the Kamala Prasad Bisesa administration. Let's hear them as they try, of course, to tell us that somehow we don't know of their mismanagement, of their incompetence, and of their evil and wicked and, of course, draconian measures to try to salvage and to extract from citizens by way of increase in multiple tax regime and initiatives, whether it be, of course, the property tax, whether it be the increase in electricity and, of course, water and so on. If we only take God out of our minds and put these vipers back in office. But listen to them. Who the gods wish to destroy, they first send them mad, and they have gone berserk.
Madam Speaker, I still have a coal pot, where I put my coals and I roast my breadfruit. So if you don't have that, go back until such time as you can afford the gas. But don't come and blame you not having gas on the government. I have a suggestion for me. In order to lose weight, I will ride to court. I will take a bike. That will save fuel. That's my solution.
We may have to call our homes and our families together around a table and say, you know what? We can no longer afford to go to the movies twice a week or 3 times a week. We may not be able to bake ham.
Yes, indeed, of course. Let's pause for a cause as we take your call. A pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Yeah, good night, Dr. Lennox. I'll be very short tonight.
Go ahead.
I was reading some of the people that are getting you on Facebook.
All right. Oh, yes, sorry about that. Yes.
Yeah, right. So,
yeah. Thanks very much.
Yeah,
Thanks very much.
I'll make a comment.
Yeah. Thanks very much, my friend.
I'll make a contribution on that side.
Yeah. Okay
right,
then.
so.
Thanks very much. Yes. My apology, of course, to those on Facebook. I just initiated it, so there's a process, and you have to remember every step of the way. Otherwise, of course, you don't have a broadcast at all. So better late than never. So those of you who are on Facebook, of course, my apology for that tardiness on my part is entirely, of course, my fault. So eager am I, of course, to treat with this matter as to the real reason for Rowley, of course, leaving office or planning to leave office in the way that he did, that of course that created no excuse, but of course an apology is clearly necessary in this case. So,
because we may have to reapportion some of the scarce resources to other important things. And sometimes our children may scream at us, and they might throw themselves into tantrum. And they may even throw shoes at us and break glasses. But that child, that young boy and that young girl must have no doubt in their minds that the decisions of their parents is for their greater good.
Madam Speaker, I still have a coal pot.
Because every time a heavy rain falls,
and I roast my bread
I don't have no
so
current
if you don't have that, go back and
they
tell
spoil
me
the
such time as you
TV,
can
they
afford.
spoil my fridge. They nearly kill me with low voltage. Now before they make me a lunatic, I'm going back to basic. I'm going and get a flambeau and lamp with wick. I'm going back to basic.
that is what they are telling us in 21st century Trinidad and Tobago. Man, get the hell out of office now, man.
To let them know that if they have a message to send, tell Tempo. And if they come home and they see me, tell me neighbor. Or get a pen and a writing pad and write a letter. Cause TCT does make me weep. Gone are the days when old talk was cheap. I make a phone call to Talparo and I get a phone bill to Mexico. Oh my lad, before they kill me and kill me quick, I'm going back to basic. A piece of marling and two climpan couldn't do the trick. I'm going back to basic. I went and buy me a motor car for my own comfort, because I can't take no more torture waiting on transport. But all them potholes and all them bump, me car ain't able until they invent a car to jump. Well, I go travel. I beg the Lord to please put a hand, touch the hearts of this parts man.
Yes, indeed. Of course, once again, my apology to those who are on Facebook for that tardiness. But of course, I trusted that we would be able to compensate because you would not have missed much. But of course, you would have missed anyway. But that being as it may, we continue, of course, and a pleasant welcome to all. Please share as we are attempting to target the 20,000 a night. So we have some work to do, and all of us must become, of course, soldiers in this army to spread the message of the corridor transformation, because we have quite a lot of content material to share with you, most of which, of course, will be in the vicinity of solutions, having regard to the fact that it is a common denominator, a common fact, almost what I would consider to be self-evident, that the PNM Rowley has collapsed, and therefore we need to make certain that when Kamala Prasad Bisasa and the UNC comes into office, that they can, of course, do justice as they did between 2010 and 2015. Humane, focused, people focused and people centered towards, of course, advancement for Trinidad and Tobago at every level.
Trinidad Rio.
Account of a senior government official is under scrutiny. Mr. Prime Minister Urvashi again, there have been allegations of some level of financial impropriety. Now, these allegations are online. They come from someone who is said to be a relative of a cabinet minister. But in any event, it says that foreign or U.S. accounts of a senior government official is under scrutiny by the United States. Some are saying, Mr. Prime Minister, that this is you. So I have to ask if you are aware of any member of your cabinet or any member of your government are subject to any sort of such investigation.
Let me tell you about
Mr. Prime Minister Urvashi again, there have been allegations of some level of financial impropriety. Now, these allegations are online. They come from someone who is said to be a relative of a cabinet minister. But in any event, it says that foreign or U.S. accounts of a senior government official is under scrutiny by the United States. Some are saying, Mr. Prime Minister, that this is you. Mr. Prime Minister Urvashi again, there have been allegations of some level of financial impropriety. Now, these allegations are online. They come from someone who is said to be a relative of a cabinet minister. But in any event, it says that foreign or U.S. accounts of a senior government official is under scrutiny by the United States. Some are saying, Mr. Prime Minister, that this is you. So I have to ask if you are aware of any member of your cabinet or any member of your government are subject to any sort of such investigation.
Let me tell you about what I'm aware of this. When the media is taking its timing from social media foolishness, I really don't want to get involved in that. Right? So my time is too valuable. I don't want to be uncharitable. Some person who probably was having a bad day and blurt out their inner bile without a shred of evidence, and let's not go around it. I saw the post, and it didn't take long for my name to be associated with it. And I was amazed, I must say I was amazed at the level of nastiness that existed in the national community, where there were people who were prepared to receive that with great gusto, hoping that it was true. And I just felt sorry for such persons. Foolishness written by some person or person unknown that I had problems with the United States authorities with respect to money laundering, and that my absence from returning here is because I was being detained in America. And you should leave it alone. Absolute nonsense. Guarantee you, this Prime Minister doesn't have those problems. Understood? Who think this is par for the course, and who think that where there's smoke, there's fire. Let me just say to you all, I have no account in any bank outside of Trinidad and Tobago.
Your main interest is to see if you could pin this to the Prime Minister. I wish you luck.
Thank you all very much. Thank you.
If I have to go to jail, come, I'm ready to go.
Star detectives watching your hand. A criminal few change the life with it. To a terror nightmare and fright. Lawyers so cold, the crooks get hold.
Mr. Prime Minister Urvashi again, there have been allegations of some level of financial impropriety. Now, these allegations are online. they come from someone who is said to be a relative of a cabinet minister. But in any event, it says that foreign or U.S. account of a senior government official is under scrutiny by the United States. Some are saying, Mr. Prime Minister, that this is you. So I have to ask if you are aware of any member of your cabinet or any member of your government are subject to any sort of such investigation.
Well, yes, indeed, of course. And people, is it plausible that that is the reason why Rowley has decided to make a sudden exit, a sudden exodus from the office of Prime Minister and that of association with the PNM? That is the question. And he has not answered it when it was posed to him. He went on as usual with his bullying tactic, and in specificity, aggression being the best form of defense. So he admonishes the media instead of course, answer. But of course, he did give us some insight. He said, listen, he has no bank account in the United States. Or put another way, to quote him, he has no bank account outside of Trinidad and Tobago. But I am saying this against a specific background. You see, Rowley told us, and it did indicate, that his government was pursuing Kamala Prasad Bissasa's ministers and the members of that administration between 2010 and 2015 to put them in handcuff. For, of course, misbehavior in public office. And where am I going with this? I am saying that prior to the expose, prior to the revelations surrounding Vincent Nelson, yes, there where I'm going. I don't get me vexed before I pull that up too, you know. Before the revelations relating to what really transpired, perversion of justice, criminal justice, misbehavior in public office, the entire cabinet culpable of abuse of office, corruption. Rowley was up and down the country saying that of course, he don't want to talk. But Vincent Nelson is a senior counsel, a UK counsel. Rowley was saying that don't get me vexed. And that he's helping them by, of course, becoming a state witness. We will deal with that later down the road, because it demonstrates a level of ignorance of the criminal justice system as inherited and practiced under the British or the English law and the England, Scotland, and Scotland. Yeah. He was up and down the country saying and making examples. And now we can make the nexus, we can make the connection to what he was saying. Then, you see, I am saying that specifically to say that we have heard it before from him in this denial that he doesn't have a bank account and that he wasn't the one that was delayed. And up to now, he has not been able to tell us why for almost a month he was delayed in the United States when he went, of course, to ostensibly to treat with a CARICOM matter. And then he said that he wanted, of course, to stay to do a checkup, as he normally would tell us. But of course, in most instances, he goes to play golf. But that is his forte. That is the cross that he has to carry. I am making the point about Vincent Nelson to show that it's a similar obfuscatory old talk that he gave to the journalist when he was asked the very pointed question, was it you, Rowley, that the authorities in the United States have fingered, have pointed for money laundering and clearly other matters that will come up in the future? And thus, of course, your expeditious exit from these offices suddenly. Because there was no indication that Rowley had intended to leave office. And the latest, of course, a piece of the puzzle is that there was such uncertainty that it is only now that Avery Brown has said, well, listen, he is interested in running for the seat in Diego Martin West. Only now. Is that what I say? I say only now. Now that it has been confirmed. But he, Brown, would not have done that when, of course, the substantive period for screening for the elections, as far as the PNM is concerned, because they were out front screening candidates and they almost got their full slate, or they were well advanced. There was no talk then about Brown contesting Diego Martin West. That would have been sacrilegious. That would have attracted for Brown the wrath and the sanction of Rowley, that vindictive, evil, wicked, diabolical, and unsavory character. Yes. All you on the line and on the chat could say all you want. That has been the history. And I am right in my assessment to make the comparison. Because he has done it not once, not twice, not three times. It is not an aberration. It is a regularity, and therefore it is a habit. So, with respect, of course, to Vincent Nelson, he was up and down the country indicating to us that Vincent Nelson has turned state witness in a bogus trial concocted by, of course, Al-Rari, who was the then Attorney General, and subsequent to that and immediately thereof was transferred, of course, to the Ministry of Local Government. But, of course, the damage was already done, and therefore his sanction was to just remove him from there to there, because all of them are in this conspiratous, evil engagement to deceive the people of Trinidad and Tobago and our resources. So, Brownlee was up and down, and he went as far as to talk about Pramasa. I say so because I told you I'm going to bring back, of course, the whole question of his ignorance about the criminal law. He said Pramasa. You remember Pramasa? He was up and down the place, Pramasa, because he was, to use a cricketing term, his tail was up. In other words, he had the advantage. And he felt that he had, of course, the UNC on the back foot. And, of course, wondering in a very amorphous way What's next? Because here it is, Rowley's on the rampage, and he's going to deliver now. Those, of course, big fish that he claimed, connected, of course, to corruption in the UNC, all of which clearly are figment of his pernicious evil and deep-seated imagination. He goes to sleep thinking about evil, and invariably, as we have seen, it collapses on him. He digging hole for others, and he falling in it. Oh, what a tangle web we weave when we first set out to deceive. Let me repeat. Oh, what a tangle web we weave when we set out to deceive. And Rowley, you are a deceiver extraordinaire. You blasted rapist and pedophile. I say so without fear of contradiction. All I could say all I want. But the point I'm making is that he was up and down the country saying that Vincent Nelson was assisting the government of Trinidad and Tobago to put in handcuffs members of the Kamala Prasad Misesa UNC administration. And he went on and he bloated. And his excoriations and his viciousness and his vehement vitrials had no boundary. They were unlimited. There were no assignment of regulation or limitation as he went on. To say that Pamasa, like Pamasa in the Malik matter, Vincent has turned witness, and then we learned the truth of the entire thing. And notice it has gone silent. No longer they're focusing on the big fish. Notice that. Because once they believe that they have an edge or an advantage, especially when it is an opportunity, of course, to malign the opposition, Kamala Prasad Misesa and the UNC, they take pleasure. And we must reciprocate now that we know what the facts are. And when the facts came out, that is, $10 million was paid to, of course, Vincent Nelson in circumstances that is even more treacherous and evil. Imagine. They exploited the man, sickness. He had some cancer. And he felt that, of course, he needed the money that was owing to him anyway. But the government, Rowley and they procrastinated. And they went into legal, what I consider to be meandering, in order to delay and delay. So in other words, the man could have died for his own money. He had to agree. He had to agree to an agreement. Yes, an indemnity, they call it agreement. He had to agree to an indemnity agreement before he get the $10 million that was owing to him by, of course, the previous administration for work that he would have done for the state. And then, of course, incidentally, and clearly we know now as part of that package, because he was under duress, he was under siege, Vincent Nelson. So he signed, according to the Privy Council, a short argument for the exculpation of the former head of Petrotrin, who took us into the abyss of economic disaster consequential of the investment as far as the gas to liquid initiative is concerned, and others that were extremely expensive, and has created today as well, as part of the repercussions, the lack of foreign reserves that we should have had otherwise if that investment was not made. And incidentally, the basis on which Rowley closed down Petrotrin, when in fact it was all about the fake oil matter, which he, Rowley, himself would have been, of course, embroiled in. That is the level of evil we have. Understand, I am making the point once again to show that when Rowley says that he ain't know anything, and that is not him, it is him. Because he said the same thing about Vincent Nelson. And after all of that, and after the opposition exposed the entire, what I consider to be conspirators, criminal conduct, and I dare say the entire cabinet of Rowley would have been involved. Because when the information came out in the public domain, and the DPP was so incensed and was so obligated to withdraw, because in the process, both Ramdeen and the former AG, Anand Ramlogan, were charged for corruption, for bribery, for kickbacks. Yes. And when the DPP got wind of the information that was in the possession of the opposition, he withdrew the charges, exposing Trinidad and Tobago, you and I, to not yet having been pursued, but incalculable exposure to civil action that will, of course, impact on the treasury of this country and therefore on taxpayers' money. That is the track record of Rowley and they. So don't tell me that it is impossible to or in any way one must dismiss the nonsense that Rowley would have said in attempting, of course, to talk away the accusation that he may well be the one that is being questioned by the United States authorities. You don't expect him to say yes. And I am linking that with the fact that he has decided, of course, given us no indication prior that he will be demitting office one after the other, as far as the prime ministership is concerned, and of course that of the leader of the party, a criminal enterprise called the PNM, that should, after the next election, be relegated to the dustbin of political history, having regarded to the awful track record. Awful track record. So people, let's hear again. I'm coming with another example of why not to trust Rowley, or put another way, whatever he has to say, take it with a pinch, not with a pinch, not with a spoonful, but a truckload of salt. Truckload of salt. Truckload of salt. I know people are listening and you are at the edge of your seats. Don't forget, of course, tell everyone, share. This is serious business. This is about the salvation and the rescuing of Trinidad and Tobago. And I appeal to all you young people, learn from these experiences, because when people are in high office and they are surrounded with all the tools, the mechanisms, and the privileges, and of course, couch in the legalities, if they are characters or personalities like Rowley, they can produce endless disaster. And yes, elections have consequences. Let's hear Rowley again before, of course, we go further.
level of financial impropriety. Now, Mr. Prime Minister Urvashi again, there have been allegations of some level of financial impropriety. Now, these allegations are online. They come from someone who is said to be a relative of a cabinet minister. But in any event, it says that foreign or U.S. accounts of a senior government official is under scrutiny by the United States. Some are saying, Mr. Prime Minister, that this is you. So I have to ask if you are aware of any member of your cabinet or any member of your government are subject to any sort of such investigation.
Let me tell you what I'm aware of Obishi. When the media is taking its timing from social media foolishness, I really don't want to get involved in that. Right? So my time is too valuable. I don't want to be uncharitable. Some person who probably was having a bad day and blurt out their inner bile without a shred of evidence, and let's not go around it. I saw the post, and it didn't take long for my name to be associated with it. And I was amazed, I must say I was amazed at the level of nastiness that existed in the national community, where there were people who were prepared to receive that with great gusto, hoping that it was true. And I just felt sorry for such persons. Foolishness written by some person or person unknown that I had problems with the United States authorities with respect to money laundering, and that my absence from returning here is because I was being detained in America. And you should leave it alone. Absolute nonsense. Guarantee you, this Prime Minister doesn't have those problems. Understood? Who think this is par for the course, and who think that where there's smoke, there's fire. Let me just say to you all, I have no account in any bank outside of Trinidad and Tobago.
Your main interest is to see if you could pin this to the Prime Minister. I wish you luck.
Thank you all very much. Thank you.
Yes. If I have to go to jail, come, I'm ready to go.
Star detectives watching your hand. A criminal few change the life with you. To a terror nightmare and fright. And lawyers so cold. The crooks get hold.
Yes, people, of course. What is the other indicators, plural indicators, to suggest that we must pay particular attention now to Rowley and his whereabouts? Pay particular attention to Rowley and his whereabouts when he is left on the loose to his own devices. You see, it was not by accident that his friend from Diego Martin, who he gave, of course, the highest award, leaving, of course, that university that called him to provide what? To provide an honorary doctorate to Rowley, and of course, and to spew the lies about Trinidad and Tobago and the reality of our circumstance. It was more of an Nancy story or an illusion. When he went to collect that honorary doctorate, you see, it is clear that it was set up so that he could interact with Joe Biden, the President of the United States. It's clear. That was part of the arrangement to get close to Biden so that some of the focus, especially the negative ones, could be diverted away from him. Because I'm sure he would have had a sit down with Biden, because Biden did say that, of course, we have to talk. And you notice after that, he was able, of course, to visit the United States more regularly. But that does not take away the initial and the substantive issue. that he has not been able to clear, and that is, of course, whether or not the United States authority have been investigating him or have investigated him or had detained him on that journey that he was supposed to return some 1 month before. That's nuts. But let us go further. You are familiar, of course, with the Police Service Commission's debacle. You know it. So I'm not going to focus there because you know. I'm not going to reiterate. But you know, what I want to focus on is the fact that he lied in the beginning and said he doesn't know about this senior government official that made an intervention to stop Gary Griffith essentially from, of course, being considered at least at the level of the parliament. Because he wants to show that he could kill an ant with a sledgehammer. He is all powerful. So he intercepted, of course, Bliss C. Prasad, and I think you know the rest. The entire commission had to resign when the news came out, again provided to us by the loyal opposition. And then, of course, the loyal opposition recognizing that they can take the matter to its natural conclusion in terms of course, getting the information just in case there was anything to hide. Because Rowley started by hiding, by suggesting to all of us that he knew nothing about any intercepting of any shortlist to be taken through the president to the parliament. Well, the opposition, knowing that they have the votes to initiate impeachment hearing or impeachment proceedings, first time in the history of Trinidad and Tobago, a president that is a ceremonial president, not to say that you are executive president, a ceremonial president was made, of course, to be subjected to that reality. Let's go to the lines. Pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Good night, lad. Watching your program.
Yes, man.
I want to ask Rowley, because he's not talking about the money at Inverter and Thief. The $3.6 billion. Is he part and parcel of that money? You know?
Very good question. Too many unanswered, significant questions that surrounding this man. Yeah.
But you know something, Lennox?
Yeah.
Say that come like Venezuela. Because when before Chavez died, he put Maduro as president. Now, Rowley is putting Young as prime minister.
Yes.
So, the two countries intertwined with each other. So Rowley is playing Chavez by putting Young, you know, and I mean, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Trinidadians are making a mistake in life. They're going to suffer because Young is a Young. You know, and probably Young is holding something over Rowley's head. And something serious. Because all this money that they can account for, where it's gone? Him should be held accountable. Rowley should be held accountable because he's head of the government.
That's right.
And if $2.6 billion is missing, he should get him but to give account of it. He's not
going to do that. You see how they coalesce and they conspired and they mend their differences, you know, in a most obscene way. But go ahead.
I mean, that's like here in Canada, you know, the government, people don't want him. His own cabinet rejected him.
Yes.
He bowed down. He bowed down.
Yes, my friend.
Yeah. So Rowley is part and parcel of everything.
Yes.
So he's going to walk away with a big fat pension and a big fat salary for how long he's here. And a big back pay. I want to ask all the TNM supporters, what Rowley give them? What Rowley give them? The only thing that Rowley give these people is suffering. And they have more suffering to get.
Yes.
From Stuart Young.
Of course, they are cut from the same cloth and plucked from the same book. Yeah.
Remember, Stuart Young is Chinese. And Chinese don't like their money to be out. They want to get their money. So Stuart Young is going, how much racket Stuart Young, how much recusal Stuart Young is in? Probably why Rowley put in Young as Prime Minister.
Well, obviously, he groomed him for that. Yeah, it is a conspirators, what I consider to be unholy arrangement. Unholy in the sense that they have withdrawn or held from the population things that they ought to know. It is clear, having regard, of course, to all of the recusals one and all of the those letters or agreements of secrecy.
Because you know something, that meeting they had on Saturday.
Yeah.
Everybody's scared of Rowley.
Yeah.
Because Rowley is worse than Williams. Williams is saying, if what I'm doing, if nobody likes it, no dog back.
Yeah.
But Rowley is saying no dog back and nobody back. You know? People have to take charge. They have to get out. They have to get out and get PNM government out of there. Obliterate PNM completely out of the map.
Yeah, there is an obligation on the part of the people.
Get rid of PNM completely because PNM has been that way since the government formed.
Pleasant good night, caller. Just hold on. Completing on the handset with another call. Yeah.
Okay, you take care.
Okay then. All right. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Pleasant good night.
Lennox. Yes.
How you looking sharp so boy? Like you went and collect your lot of money and things. Looking sharp on the set, you know, man.
Thank you very much.
Hey.
Thank you very much.
But here what now? Let me just diving into the Stuart Young scenario.
Yes.
No, everything is alleged.
Yes,
I using the word strongly
we
alleged.
We are speculating and we are assuming, but based on certain indicators that would lead us
right.
to circumstantial evidence. Yeah.
My suit very short. The turn long is a short suit I have.
I hear you, my
But
friend.
anyhow, yeah. So here what it is I think is happening.
Yeah.
Rowley decided to say, well, you know, Stuarty boy, here we're going on. I believe that things in my favor, but here what I'll give you the Prime Minister role because if they catch me, you gotta take the blame for it. Because the way how it looking like he set you up to take the fall. I could be wrong, but I guess it's alleged you're looking like he could take the fall. Or it could be this way too. That's what I hear ain't on the ground, but it's alleged that the head of the Young table wants to go be the governor. So I don't know how true is that. The head of Young table at home want to be the governor. They have a brother who has a little bank account, a little small bank account. I can't say big, I just say small bank account, alleged. So is the whole family go take over this now? So you know where I'm coming from.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I guess
there's a conspirators evil plot.
Yes, it is a plot.
To capture the state called Trinidad and Tobago. Go ahead, yeah.
Yes, it is, I believe. I could be wrong again, it's alleged. But Mr. Rowley is saying that he is a prime minister on the wings. I don't understand. You're in or you're out, you're pregnant or you're not. What it is, we don't know. But I believe, again, is because of the 20th of January, when everything started to unfold by foreign dignitaries, that he's just staying in the wings and staying at the side just in case he name call, he's not no prime minister. He come out Just like we do with Petrotrin. He shut down Petrotrin because his partner was going to make a serious jail. So I guess, you know, you're trying that the same principle on a different angle.
That's right.
That is my take on it. So, but anyhow, Lennox, them rapscallion, them Kobo sapien, them boy, I ain't know what's going on with them now, boy.
I mean,
Them is just blight. Them,
blight is
shambolicals and them. Them. Oh Lord have mercy.
Yeah, man,
all right, Lennox.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Yeah.
Total disappointment, total betrayal, perfidious betrayal of the goodwill of the people who would have put you there. And I'm talking here not just the small, minuscule kitchen and cabinet itself, the legal cabinet, the legal cabinet, the de facto cabinet, but also, of course, a betrayal. It's a betrayal of the rank and file of the party. And, of course, those persons who are not connected but maybe sympathetic. That's another level of persons that have been betrayed. And then, of course, you have those who, based on the historical pattern of voting, they will gravitate to the PNM. Now they have to be extremely careful where they put their votes. They have to. It's an imperative now. It's a necessity that they are forced, of course, to think and to understand that the toxicity of the PNM brought on by Rowley and his, what I consider to be slavish and at the same time destructive administration, they must have to think twice, 3 times, 4 times before they could consider the PNM as the government or to vote for the PNM in the next elections. But let's go to the lines. A pleasant good night.
Hey, Lennox, good night.
Good night to you, my friend.
You hear me good?
Loud and clear, yes.
Right. I was watching the Parliament channel up to a while ago.
Uh-huh.
Rowley come back to talk again. This is going to be the 3rd time for the year. Camera blast them so much today like gunpowder.
I hear you.
That he get notice, she come back and talk for a second time. I don't know who position he take. Then Saddam Hussein come now and give them it good.
Right.
And just how they was getting on. When you see the natural thing with the one from Tabakit and all of them supporting Rowley and them.
Right.
Rodney Charles and what's his name? Anita Haynes.
Anita Haynes, yes.
And
of course, Rao, what's his name? Rao, I believe it is from Manzanilla, yes.
Yeah, and Rambali and
Rambali, yes. He's Shogunas.
You see them know they have no chance of going back up in camera.
Yeah.
So they supported Rowley and them.
Yes.
But what I noticed, and I heard over Rowley and Biden is a vegetable. So when Rowley went up there to talk to Biden, the funeral that they just had for Carter, Biden thought was this long-time President Nixon funeral he went to, you know.
Yeah, but what I noticed too, my friend, is that Rowley didn't send anyone to Venezuela to represent Trinidad in that thing. I suppose he has an ambassador there, so the ambassador would have attended.
Oh,
we need to find out that fellow who was the first national security minister under Yeah, that's right. The fellow who stole the old man house. I mean, he seemed to have only rapscallions surrounding him in insignificant position. I mean, this is a government of scams. This is a kleptocrat. Kleptocracy, yes. Yeah.
Imagine you can keep the old man house, somebody.
Just imagine that.
And
he tried to trick him, you know, because the fella took him into a thing because he know him and so on, and tried to trick the man and use his position here, and I'm sure Rowley and them would have assisted not to reveal the total file on that particular matter. But we will find it.
I surprised J.D. in America.
Yeah.
But getting back to what I was telling you.
Go ahead.
Rowley come back 3rd time to talk to you, so I look on the TV.
Yeah. Well, he will use that. He will use that because he is a lame duck. He has been examined and found wanting. He knows that, but he will die trying because he is trying, of course, to let's say convince those that are immediately around him from abandoning him. You notice they couldn't get two candidates in any one of those seats in Tobago. They had to, of course, rely on the incumbent, and anybody with a modicum of common sense would notice that these people, these women, are totally unfit to be a parliamentarian or to represent Tobago.
But this woman was most noticeable, Lennox. When Roddy was using his foul mouth and talking all the nasty mouth thing here, so.
Yes.
He could put a couple of them in the background. Shooting with one another, you know.
Of course, it must be, because he's an ass.
Because them fellas ain't looking too pleased at all.
Yeah. They cannot be. They will show a front, they will show a farce, they will demonstrate, or they will, let's say, engage in a charade. Yeah, but that's about it. I mean, it is illusion. It is, of course, theatrics and, of course, histrionics. That's about it. But the fact is, all roads lead to the fact that they have failed, they are done with, and the longer they take to, of course, reconcile among themselves, to the exclusion of the population, and I categorize the various aspects of the population, including, of course, the rank and file of the party, is the greater the hate will, of course, seethe, and then, of course, become what I consider to be the monolithic or the juggernaut that he and all will be shocked to know that Trinbagonians can be that vicious against a small group of people. Yeah.
Just fellas get forced into something that they didn't want.
Of course. And you're taking advantage because you still have some lame duck or some brittle hold. You're holding on. But it is brittle to give the impression that somehow you are government. But go ahead. Yeah.
I don't see it already.
Well, they had to jump off because they are younger, and I fear for them that if they don't do it strategically and correctly, they may well become, of course, persona non grata in Trinidad and Tobago as well, because Rowley clearly has to live over the Bocas. I know how he getting big. Well, he's a rock scientist, so he can get rocks on a cloud or something to live over the Bocas.
You know who praising him up? I'm going to tell you wait to make him look at everything, all right?
Who is that?
That dunce they call Paris Al-Rawi.
well, I mean, Tete Pizza Silva, I mean, he's going away. He's going away with a treasure chest, of buildings that, of course, ain't even worth to what the government is prepared to pay. But any building he has, the government is prepared to rent it, whether it's in Port of Spain and other parts of the country.
I surprised to hear Paris Al-Rawi calling God name, boy. A man calling God name, boy, Lennox.
Yeah, and that's where they will get struck down, because you don't do that knowing full well what you have done.
I'm telling you, and you don't care about nobody. Them caring about God.
Yeah, no. That's only a farce. That's only superficial. That's superfluous. That is, of course, grandstanding and, of course, a high degree of pretense.
I never heard that man use the word God in his mouth.
Well, you hear all of them using it just now.
He used it about
because who the gods wish to destroy, they first send them mad. And oh, what a tangle when we first set out to deceive. And as the old people say, the hole you dig for others, you may well fall in it. So be careful, yes. And remember, they also say too that remember those who assisted you on your way up, you may need them on your way down. And they are collapsing by the seconds.
The speaker surprised me today, boy.
Tell me.
Because everyone, the child come and start to be repetitious. She put him in the place.
Very good.
Because she know that she's helped all of them against Kamala.
Yes.
And after she talked to Rudy and that thing,
right.
and them coming with the same thing, she passed up to that.
Beautiful.
She was the sick that she stomach when she watching me.
Yeah, of course, because I mean, she is in an advantageous bird's eye position or location, and she has seen it on all sides, and I'm sure she too is in a state of bewilderment that the PNM could, of course, have should I say morphed, or should I say metamorphosized into such a devious, wicked, diabolical, I mean, evil enterprise under a very, very, very evil man called Rowley.
Well, boy, you want to come back to talk again, but me want to listen because they're going right through.
Yes, man. All right. They'll be going right through. I think they have the other matter to deal with. He feel like he could get a political mileage from that, changing the coat of arms to the steel pan, but let him feel all that what he's done, what he's doing will be an exercise in futility.
What Kamala said today, Lennox, what she said?
Yeah.
Wherever they do this, I'm not going to the court, you know.
Right.
This extension of this state of emergency, you know.
Right.
Yeah, because they may know what they're talking. You don't know Saddam Hussein show you everything was what? They want to pass it with a simple majority and it can't be done.
Right.
Right? So you will look at it when you get
I'll
time.
take a look at it, yes, because I suspect that as well. That is the coat of arms of this country. How one a major section, and you have just 21 seats. How the hell do you believe that you could do that and change the coat of arms as a significant symbol, something that demarcates and, of course, acknowledges and represents Trinidad and Tobago? You can't just do that with a simple majority. That is madman, and what I consider to be devilish as well as arrogance to the hilt.
But then I'll ask you this before I go.
Go ahead.
Why the police out in all the lights in the police station and they don't always say, you know?
Yeah.
And out in all the lights and they're hiding.
Well, remember Rowley had said that he has passed by when he going to play golf, he passing by St. Anthony's and he seen all the lights in there, and he is a energy conservative, or he wants to conserve energy. But if you go by the Whitehall right now, you will see all the lights on because he built that and he wants everybody to see that.
No, but
the man is a narcissist to the hilt. Yeah.
And so the police for the young and them.
Well, it could be all of that as well. Could be a combination. But yeah.
Well, we are well street with that, but if that is so.
Yeah, that's right. All right, my friend. Thanks. Yes. President, good night. Welcome.
President, good night once again. Hello, good night.
Yes, good night again. Yes, good night to you.
Well, I was watching and I listening and I laughing at everybody all the time.
Okay.
With this Rowley and this resign, he wants to resign, but he don't know what to do. But it's frightened, the man frightened.
Of course.
I will give all of this little help. Who want to believe. Who want to believe, don't believe. Right?
Mm.
Now, before he signed that agreement with the United States of America concerning them coming here to put base.
Yeah.
His gangman friend that come out about a week and a half before this thing signing.
Yes.
On the state TV and make a big announcement and talk out brave and bold, because people getting to see now this gangman friend he have the next door. Don't afraid nobody. Right?
Yeah.
When I used to be telling all he's a gangman, people find how I'm talking, so the man is a bad man. Right? He ain't afraid nobody. So he tell Rowley, when he say Trinidad and Tobago is Rowley talk, and them he talking to you. I didn't know paper going and sign, but I saw the news with him talking, and I see the man how he talking and warning all prime ministers in the region. And he mentioned Trinidad and Tobago and Guyana. He said the commander for the South coming in all your countries, they're coming in the region there to put base, military base. They have base all in Guyana ready, and he tell them to be on the alert, right? Watch out. Well, he tell them be cautious, right? They're a spy, and they're good like the Russians in spying, and they just get info. So he don't know what coming. I'm talking about the gang man.
Yeah.
So when the reporter asked Rowley about that, Rowley get damn vexed because he covered when he frightened, he just get ragey and all kind of things to him. Well, you have to understand the man.
He knows open big and he does twinkle his finger and so on. and then, of course, deliver a total lies. But go ahead.
Listen, Lennox, he couldn't handle that, and he already hear him telling people that this is not something to be talking about. He roughed the reporter and tell the man, this is not no laughing matter and all this. The man frightened because he get the warning. I did see the warning, and I show it to a friend of mine. They have the video. I don't talk with Oli, I just talk with different people. And bang! This thing come out with the signing of this thing. I say, look at Rowley, the bitch. He frightened. It's Maduro. As you see now, everybody see how this Maduro is, they freedom. So, you see all this thing, he put Young and all that. Them had the thing fake. Young is a big member in these people thing. Them go tell this man, the young man, what to do with we. All they don't have to worry about how he running here. Them don't run here. I tell all of that long time. Them are running this country. These people are puppets. This is a puppet government. Look in the news tonight, they will tell you the gang man want to control this whole region. They're seeing now that he really wants to be the boss of this region by here, so, with CARICOM. And some of them Latin countries were giving them support is who have he in power. Because they just vote for him in the OAS. That's what have him there, no? Simple as you see it so. You see that OAS? When them vote and thing, they prop he up, he there. But if they go against, a lot of us put our voices, especially Trinidad and Tobago, were important to that CARICOM. If we, the citizens and the opposition, put our voice and talk, and we protest and we talk, it will be pressure. But when we don't know what's going on, and we hear dumb and they know their business, they will mash we. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So, this is the position with Rowley. He had to set the stage good. He annoyed the young Chinese man, and the Chinese man know all them people over there, right? Because he dealing with the oligarchs, just as Andy told you all, and I had talked to Andy about that a long time. The oligarchs over there and other parts of the world, he is the man that set up the whole scene. I say long time, don't be bashing these 1% Syrian people here because Rowley don't have time with them. Rowley have business with them. Rowley have the oligarchs on the outside. You come here, see that with the last man, the Jindal, and some next Indian man from India, they give land. And it had the oligarchs in Venezuela. It had the Wilma Rupati and all them big-time terrorist narco man. And they put bounty on their head, bigger bounty. And look here. I got there, no, Lennox.
I hear you, my friend.
The thing mash up.
Yes. Oh, of course,
okay.
It does come full circle. Thank you very much, of course, for that. I must say I can confirm about, of course, the threat issued to the CARICOM leaders with respect, of course, to the signing of agreements where the United States can, of course, stage forward, should I say, military assets on their soil, and of course, in the region, the only belligerent, of course, that is of concern to the United States is that of Venezuela. And of course, Trinidad and Tobago being in close proximity. Whilst we understand why Guyana, because Guyana, I think Trinidad and Tobago would have been the 34th, and I think the last state to sign on that type of arrangement where you give military facilitation. Of course, Rowley would like that to be secret. What he prefer is that, of course, to suggest that somehow the Americans and the government are friends. But of course, we know differently. They were extremely concerned about Delcy Rodriguez and all what they did with respect to opening up the country for registration and so on was as a result of trying to appease the Americans. Even though, of course, Camille Robinson Regis naively and stupidly would have said in the parliament, who the hell is Trump? Of course, Trump did not invite Rowley to his home when he was just before he demitted office. He invited other Caribbean leaders, such as the Jamaican Prime Minister, and of course, this other one from northern, of course, Caribbean. But let's go to the lines. A pleasant good night. Welcome.
Pleasant good night, Mr. Lennox.
Good night to you, my friend.
And pleasant good night to the right thinking citizen of this beloved country, Trinidad and Tobago. Yes. Mr. Lennox, this former union leader who ended up being a minister in the Ministry of Labor, if I'm in for correction, the night of the Tobago, 9-11.
Yes.
Right? And she had an aggressive way.
Oh yes,
when she came
with Jennifer Primus Batiste.
That's correct.
Okay.
She come out aggressive and say, we're going to deal with that. Right? It's supposed to have a recording which she gets it on aggressive.
Right.
Now I have a video with her after the General Council meeting on Saturday. Me don't know if she went in there and in the General Council at a church and the pastor said, calm, God is in control and do as he say, don't do as he do.
And she became transfixed.
And she changed, she tongue, she tell me, you know what make me laugh? She seen deceit in these people, boy. The most deceitful people they have in the world is a PNM.
Yeah, they learn well from Rowley.
Mr. Lennox, I want to repeat myself, you know.
Go ahead.
The most deceitful people they have in the world is PNM people. And that woman talked there and ball, the last word she said, Mr. Lennox, are you hearing me?
Loud and clear, loud and clear. And
that woman said, sorry, Camilla, we have this one again in the bag. So I want to know what my political beloved leader have anything to do with when you was getting on bad with the bacchanal within your party. So she changed on the whole talk. She almost looked uneducated saying it.
and stupid, but yet still they will try to show a straight face. But you could see the guilt on their faces because the muscle contracts and the eyes becomes dazed, as if, of course, they're no man's land. That kind of feature, which of course most human beings will be familiar with. So we know that is the ass they play.
Because I see Foster Cummings was going to introduce the new leader. And you're seeing the deceit.
Yeah.
while your body action does tell a story, yeah?
Yeah. And I want
and
to tell people that
the
PNM caused that on themselves because they have been dishonest. So whatever is in the realm of speculation, whatever you term as conspiracy theory, the PNM has created that because they have not been upfront with the people at every level, in government, out of government, at the party level, and of course at the cabinet level. Go ahead, my friend.
Yes, and Dr. Rowley knows. Well, I can't call him no doctor, because I don't know if he get doctorate like how he get when Biden, when the man went and lie and say, So I call him Rowley.
Just to give him a heads up with, of course, Biden, yes, to get a close up with Biden. That's all that was about. So we know
Rowley know he's unpopular.
Yes.
He know he's unwanted, but he believe if wherever he doing, we want all fall down with him. So he takes Stuart Small Pinion to take the blow. We're going and come to them. And this is what I want to say before I leave.
Right.
To the right-thinking citizen, especially the ones in the marginal constituencies. All you remember, all these things, do not forget them in all the marginal constituencies that we have in this country, that Rowley and his cabinet have done to our country. And after that, he made the country in a better state than how we want to leave it. And we must never forget him, and we must never forgive Dr. Rowley. And if he feel he go blow in the wilderness and leave Trinidad how it is and blow away and be comfortable, allegedly the amount of money they thief from taxpayers, he would never enjoy it. That's only going to come off one day. I hope he have a drugstore home by him, because he would never enjoy it.
Yeah.
When pain take him so, I hope he remember how he treat the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, because he's going to get pain, mayhem. I hope he have a drugstore because he can afford one. So I hope he get a drugstore and keep it close to wherever he is, because he gonna need a lot of medicine. But he wouldn't do nothing for him. He wouldn't even give him an ease.
And I agree. It reminds me of the biblical story. What would it profit a man to gain the world and lose his soul? Yes. Well,
so, Mr. Lennox, thank you for always giving me an opportunity to make my contribution.
Thank you very much. Yes, thank you very much. Of course, people, we have come to the end of the program. It's 10 minutes already. Yes, past 10 o'clock. Time just flies on this program. But of course, I am still, of course, to look at, of course, the whole question of Brent Thomas and the high-handedness, and of course, Rowley, and they're still saying that they know nothing about it, even though, of course, a court is saying that it was kidnapping. We are still, of course, to look at. Let's take another call. Let's take this call. A pleasant good night. Hopefully, it's the last one. A pleasant good night.
Yeah, good night, Uncle Lennox.
Good night to you, my friend.
Yeah, with regards to the funding for the construction of the Balize house, the FIU, the FIU supposed to have some kind of records concerning all the transaction and things put into that building.
The FIU, well, you only saw the FIU functions. That is the financial intelligence unit. The only way how they function is if a bank or a financial institution flag it and then they pass on the information. So they depend on the various financial institutions that are the first, of course, place of contact, and then they would say, well, listen, this person. They follow this form properly, or they can't say where the source of funds come from, and then they refer it to the FIU. So the FIU by itself does not have the teeth to, of course, look at that. It's really population understand what has transpired there.
So the only way to go through the deal is through the freedom of information.
Right, freedom of information, but you can't even do that either because the political parties are private institutions, so they don't fall under the Freedom of Information Act.
Whoa.
Yeah.
All right. I learned something there.
Thank you.
I know you're wrapping up there now, so
yes.
Man.
Thanks very much. Yes. So Rowley get away, in other words. So he feels, because we stupid. We don't know that it's only because they are in power why that multi-million-dollar monstrosity of steel, concrete, and windows, etc., has been constructed. And why? Because Rowley said that at the beginning of his term as head of that, what I consider to be criminal enterprise, he met a bill of over $5 million. And imagine, Eric Williams could not have reconstructed that. Eric Williams couldn't. He, in just 9 years, was able, of course, to find over $100 million and do that. This man is a criminal from birth. Extraordinary. And the record is that everywhere he would have gone in public life, whether it be at the National Quarries, Ministry of Housing, Planning Ministry, some kind of bubble. All the time. So people, that's the reality of Trinidad and Tobago today, as far as this man is concerned. That is the reality of Trinidad and Tobago today. So people, of course, we have come to the end. As I said, there are one or two other items that I will, of course, bring to the fore tomorrow night. But, of course, don't forget, of course, we go on, of course, to the ground report tomorrow morning, when, of course, Andy, Michael, and myself will be there to, of course, bring to you more of these and other issues that will make you remain steadfast, committed to the saving of Trinidad and Tobago, having regard, of course, to the decadence, the evil, the wickedness, and the clear and unadulterated, not pilfering, but larceny of the resources of the countries, both financial and material. Because in the process, they want us to be like this.
Office are going to file me an injunction on the public service. Because every time a heavy rain fall, I me don't have no current at all. They spoil my TV, they spoil my fridge. They nearly kill me with low voltage.
Probably was having a bad day.
They make me a lunatic.
Blurt out the inner bile. Without a
Mr. Prime Minister Urvashi again, there have been allegations of some level of financial impropriety. Now, these allegations are online. They come from someone who is said to be a relative of a cabinet minister. But in any event, it says that foreign or U.S. accounts of a senior government official is under scrutiny by the United States. Some are saying, Mr. Prime Minister, that this is you. So I have to ask if you are aware of any member of your cabinet or any member of your government subject to any sort of such investigation.
Let me tell you what I'm aware of this. When the media is taking its timing from social media foolishness, I really don't want to get involved in that. Right? So my time is too valuable.
Mr. Prime Minister Urvashi again, there have been allegations of some level of financial impropriety. Now, these allegations are online. They come from someone who is said to be a relative of a cabinet minister. But in any event, it says that foreign or U.S. accounts of a senior government official is under scrutiny by the United States. Some are saying, Mr. Prime Minister, that this is you. So I have to ask if you are aware of any member of your cabinet or any member of your government are subject to any sort of such investigation.
Let me tell you what I'm aware of this. When the media is taking its timing from social media foolishness, I really don't want to get involved in that. Right? So my time is too valuable. I don't want to be uncharitable. Some person who probably was having a bad day and blurt out their inner bile without a shred of evidence, and let's not go around it. I saw the post, and it didn't take long for my name to be associated with it. And I was amazed. I must say I was amazed at the level of nastiness that existed in the national community, where there were people who were prepared to receive that with great...
Mr. Prime Minister Urvashi, again, there have been allegations of some level of financial impropriety. Now, these allegations are online. They come from someone who is said to be a relative of a cabinet minister. But in any event, it says that foreign or U.S. accounts of a senior government official is under scrutiny by the United States. Some are saying